Welcome to Business as a Magical Practice, where your business is the vehicle for your self-integration and soul evolution. My name is Sam Garcia, and I'm the founder of Dirty Alchemy Digital Marketing. And I'll be guiding you through how you can use your business as a spiritual practice and what magical businesses are doing to hit their goals and change the world. Together, we'll be relating the mystical to the world of business so that our work can unite spirit and matter, shadow and light, conscious and unconscious. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Business as a Magical Practice. I am so delighted to have Simone Seol on this week. So if you don't know Simone, she is a life coach and business mentor based in Seoul, South Korea. She hosts the Joyful Marketing podcast and works with coaches all over the world to create a revolution in love-based marketing. And as she puts it, she teaches life coaches how to not market like a weirdo so people actually want to buy from them.
Magic.
And magic. Great. Okay, we'll get to that.
Magic-based marketing too. I know that's your thing, but I like magic too.
Oh, no. We need to go there then. And I probably should have asked you this first, Simone. This podcast isn't for life coaches necessarily, but I'm assuming everything you talk about applies to all of the online business owners.
Yeah, I get messages from people all the time saying, I'm not even a life coach, but everything you're saying totally applies to me.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a big honor, and I'm looking forward to being surprised by what questions you have for me.
I gave her the option beforehand to hear the questions that I wanted to ask her first, and she said, no, surprise me. So
let's just wing it. That's my life philosophy.
Winging it. And if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see Simone's beautiful smile staring back at us.
Oh my gosh, it's on video too? Okay, great. I didn't know it was video.
You get to see It looks like you're prepared for video, so you're fine.
Okay. Wow. Okay. This is like my bed head. It's like really early in the morning, and my shirt is has wrinkles.
Oh,
whatever.
Maybe
okay.
Do you not want to be on video? We don't have to have this on video.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Yeah.
Well, I want to start off with a big congratulations, because last week you became Life Coach School's first non-white coach to create $1 million in revenue in a year. So that is a big fucking deal.
I think so too. I'm super honored and gratified to be here. And I know that I really did it with my community. It feels like, I feel like it's our success.
Oh.
And it was really important to me. I don't know. Part of my brain's like, that sounds really smarmy when you say it like that, but really I wanted to think of my own success as like showing the world what's possible when you don't live in the Western world, when you're not white, and especially with the kind of brain I have, with the kind of personality I have, and my background. I didn't come from anything that resembled like a business world. I come from the nonprofit world. I like to present myself as the poster child for ADHD brains, and I'm Asian, and I just a lot of things where you wouldn't expect to see someone like me having achieved this milestone. And I really want lots of people to see me and think, if she can do that, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so good. We didn't talk about this before, but on this podcast, we put out an episode a few weeks ago called How to Be Successful on a Fucked Up Brain. Cause I've dealt with
my God,
anxiety and depression and eating disorders and all sorts of shit. Then a lot of people do. And there's this weird thing in the spiritual self-help communities that you kind of have to be perfect and well-branded and all of the things in order to actually be successful.
Magical people get dirty. That's what I love. Not afraid of the darkness, not afraid of the messiness. We're bring on the alchemy. That's what it takes, right?
Yeah. So that's so good to hear. And I saw that on your website a little bit. So I wanted to ask you about that, and you already brought it up. Can you tell me about the range of emotions you've been experiencing since realizing that?
Realizing what? That I made $1 million?
You made $1 million, and you get this epic title.
Yeah, I know. What's really interesting to me is that you think it's going to feel a certain way, and it wasn't excitement as much as I felt very solid. I felt like the ground underneath me got firmer.
Mm.
And I feel like the weight center in my body just got heavier, like in a good way, right? Like I feel more grounded. I feel a heavier, like in terms of like being a heavy weight, not in terms of how the world sees me, just like in my soul, right? Like I have really completed some chapters of becoming, and I have become who I meant to become, totally outside of what it means in the world. Like I am walking my soul's journey. I'm like, that sounds so whatever.
Love
That's
it.
how
No,
it actually feels
good.
to me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And since then, it's been a whole, I mean, I'm sure it would not surprise you at all to hear that life continues to be like life. I've had
Yeah.
significant, at least emotionally significant challenges in my business that set me out to spin. And all overall, like I'm very calm about it. Like I'm like, oh, I arrived at the next level of the video game. I use that metaphor a lot with my people, that every level is a new level of the video game, and each new level of the video game has its own monsters, has its own obstacles, new things where you don't expect to like die but you do. And you got to start
Mhm.
over, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so like, oh, here's a new level of the video game. I belong in this level. I have earned this level,
Yeah.
and let's play,
Mhm.
right?
So what are you struggling with now? What are your biggest video game challenges at this level now?
Well, since this is like the first 2 seconds of me being on this level, I don't have the full picture yet. The journey is always going to show me what monsters are going to try to kill me. But it's now what feels different is that obviously have a lot more eyes on me than before. Like before, nobody knew who I was. And now lots of people know me and have thoughts about me, positive or negative.
Mhm.
And, um, And now that I am stewarding a much bigger community of people who have paid me money than before, right?
Mhm.
And so before, when I was, for the longest time, I just did one-on-one work with clients, which I loved. But, back then I was only ever dealing with like 20 brains at a time that had
Yeah.
entrusted me with their growth. And now it's like hundreds, right? And so being able to carry that to hold powerful enough space for all those people, and to be a wise steward of all of their dreams and all of their growth, it's like that is going to come with its own challenges, I assume. and and more than anything, since we started talking about this in the beginning, I have no doubt that the ultimate challenge in this level of the video game is expanding in my capacity to love myself and to have my own back, not in spite of my quote unquote weaknesses and my failures and the darkness that gets stirred up inside of me, but because of them, and to work through them and to use them as alchemical ingredients in my becoming. Now, I love that I can use words like this on your podcast, because I usually hold back a little bit on my podcast, because I'm just realizing now that I've been like a tiny bit in the closet with my magic.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be
like,
like
I
the
have to
next
make
phase.
this like
You're like,
very
I've done 7 figures now. Now I can talk about magic publicly.
exactly. I'm going to talk about all the things. I'm going to talk about hermeticism and alchemy and everything. Yeah, actually, this is like triggering something big for me. So thank you. I just had my little light bulb moment.
She's been holding back, you
Yeah, so
guys. You
it's
heard
like,
it here first.
you heard it here first, right? And so yeah, like here's the thing, like I expect now to fail a lot. I expect to fail maybe in ways that are more public than ever before, because
Mm.
nobody was looking at me before. And I have seen like my mentors and the leaders that I look up to go through quote unquote public failure. And the reason that I consider them my mentors in the first place, and I admire them so much, is because of the way they allow themselves to be almost like cooked by the experience, right?
Mm.
They're not resisting it. They might not like love it and laugh through it, but they let themselves be rocked by it, and they get soft, they get vulnerable, they hurt, and then they're a different version on the other side. And it's like do your people do astrology? Probably, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm gonna let like the Plutonic and like Uranus forces just like rock through me, like whenever they might occur, and like, God give me strength. Like, it may sound a little bit bleak, but I really like think of all of those forces as my partners and in my becoming. And I have seen in myself over and over again that every time I feel like I'm about to break is like when the best breakthroughs happen. It's the best growth happens. And so I don't, maybe this is like a really vague answer, but I feel like coming into this video game, like I feel more prepared for it than ever before. Not to say that I don't have the human side of me that's like, I don't want to experience anything hard. I want everybody to like think nice thoughts about me. I just want to have unlimited, unstopped, like nonstop success forever and ever. Like my human brain wants that, but like my spiritual self is like, oh, bring it on, bring it on.
Do you ever allow yourself to get comfortable on a level, or are you very committed to what is the next level that I can get to?
I love these questions. I don't let myself get comfortable in a level ever.
No, I don't either. No, this is a very personal, unprepared question, because I like, as someone who's anxious and like do a lot of things just to like avoid being anxious, which I know not ideal, but I realize that I strive a lot towards the next thing and don't actually let myself be comfortable at like, oh, I've gotten really far. I've done epic shit and I'm like not actually comfortable here because I'm striving. And let me hear you why for you.
I just had to put my coach hat on and point out that what you told me is probably not even accurate, that you just hold yourself back from doing a lot of things because you're anxious. Like that's like, first of all, that's every human being ever. And secondly, I'm willing to bet that if we did the math, you did far greater like proportion of things in spite of your anxiety because you were courageous and you're a badass. And I just bet that your record on that is far more impressive than you giving yourself credit for. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Okay. Okay. That said, I think the reason that I never let myself stay at a level is because when I say level, it has nothing to do with like, oh, now that I've made $1 million, like I won't stop until I make 5 million. Like that's not what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the growth is always into greater wholeness, greater integration of my being, greater healing, greater self-love, greater expression of these are all the words I never let myself say on my podcast. Okay. Greater experience of like all that my soul was meant to express in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that has nothing to do with what the outside world sees as growth and accomplishment, but there's always the next chapter when the forces of the universe is like, okay, this is the chapter for this kind of growth. And I have a hard time resisting that. It's like, what else am I going to do? Right.
Yeah.
And at the end, I love, like I live to become more of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think that's what I keep leaning into. And also because the ingredient is love. I'm like, okay, how can I get to know love more? How can I become more of love? How can I take down more of these walls that I built for myself and just give myself to the flow of the universe, right? Like that to me is what beckons from the next chapter.
Beautiful. And just skipping back a beat to, you were talking about watching your mentors cook through certain experiences that they have to go through. I was just reviewing the alchemical process the other day for a program we're putting together for 2021. I bet if you go and review it, you'll find some more interesting terminology to use, because it's like that 7-step process of actually alchemizing something. So I invite you.
What are the 7 steps? Or is that like exclusive to the program?
No. Google alchemical process. We're doing it right now, so everyone can do this together.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, you want me to Google it right now, literally?
No, I'm Googling it right now. Don't worry.
Oh, you're Googling.
So calcination, dissolution, separation, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, coagulation. It's like these are all the chemical processes of like the whole like lead into gold, but also that psychological stuff we're doing.
Say it again, but more slowly.
Okay. Yes. The first one is calcination. And now I'm actually opening up the web page. So, because I know you're okay, one sec.
While you're looking that up, I got this word cooking from an astrologer slash philosopher I love, whose name is um, Carolyn W. Casey. Is that her name? Oh my God. It's like way too early in the morning. I think that's her name. Carolyn Casey. Caroline? Oh my God. Carolyn or Caroline? Okay. W. Casey. And she talks about this Rumi poem that I haven't read myself, but I heard it from her. A Rumi poem about how like chickpeas start out very like hard in the beginning, but then you put them in boiling water and then they cook and then they cook and then they cook and meld with all the spices and the other ingredients. And at the end, they're like mushy and soft, but then they become something totally different, something edible, something delicious. And so the point was like, be the chickpea, like let yourself be cooked by the experience, let yourself meld and marry with whatever's around you to become this other thing. And so she says that in reference to the Rumi poem, it's like, let yourself be cooked, right? So I just wanted to reference that.
I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, so now we have our background information. Calcination.
Yeah.
To calcine something is to burn it until it's reduced to ashes. I'm just going to stick with this straightforward because it does go into the psychological interpretation, but we're going to get through these because this is about you and we're taking a tangent. The next is dissolution. This kind of operation demands a cycle of meditation, which is crucial for a successful dilution of the parts into a fluid condition. So it's about dissolving, obviously, dissolution, separation, so separating the components, conjunction. The separated elements demand a new combination to find the balance. Fermentation. The stage of fermentation is also a metaphor for pregnancy and fecundation. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's fecundity. I know what fecundity means. So that includes putrefaction in there. And then distillation, distilling it down, and coagulation, bringing it back together.
You know what I love about all of that?
What?
Is that none of it sounds particularly pleasant.
I know.
It doesn't sound like any of it is going to smell very nice.
There's some like burning,
burning, and there's like coagulating and like fermenting and like
putrefying.
It just sounds
rotting.
Like it's gonna like, smell fucking nasty.
So that's what I'm kind of diving into right now in my time of really understanding that with business. But it felt like such a great parallel with the cooking that happens to oneself when they publicly fail. They publicly fail,
or even when they privately fail, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of us, I'm sure you know really well about this because you see a lot of entrepreneurs. I think the number one reason that people don't end up making it is because this alchemical process happens and it smells bad and it feels really bad. And they think that's something that it shouldn't feel like that. They think they're doing it wrong because it feels so bad. And they don't get to see themselves through the transformative process. They don't get to end up like the chickpea stew, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, I'm burning. It hurts. This is bad. And they get out. We're like, no, let yourself burn all the way. And I feel like there's something almost like holy about giving yourself that experience. And that's why like I'm on a mission to tell as many people as possible that that's what it's supposed to feel like. And we're like tying everything together that we meant to talk about. And I think what makes that particularly painful or difficult to bear is if you have trauma, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the more sort of more robust you feel in yourself, the more you're able to withstand the burning and the coagulating and the fermenting and all of this stuff. And for those of us with trauma brains, I don't mean to like put everybody in a one category and say we all have the trauma brain. Like I don't mean like that, but I just mean as a shorthand for those of us who struggle with some form of trauma response, which I actually think is the vast majority of us.
I think it's 99.99% of people.
I have yet to meet a person, right? So for those of us, what gets triggered is when the alchemical process happens, we feel deeply, deeply unsafe, and we have to run away from the experience as fast as possible to restore a feeling of safety, which is I'm sure you know, which is a brilliant survival mechanism, right, in evolution, but somehow doesn't end up aligning with the growth of our soul. And I really wanted to make my life's work be about helping people to find the tether almost to the strength of their spiritual self in the nervous system breakdown. Sounds real fun, doesn't it?
I thought this was joyful marketing, Simone. I thought this was joyful marketing. Guys, she is tricking you.
I lured you in with the joy and then I hit you with the fermentation, right? But jokes aside, what I think enables true joy, not joy like you're running away from what's hard, not joy like you're numbing yourself with sort of shallow pleasures, but I think true joy comes from discovering more of yourself. Like it comes from the strength that you didn't know you had in the beginning of the fermentation process, right? The joy comes from, oh my God, I thought I was being burned and then I thought I was going to die, but now I am a delicious chickpea soup. Like it comes from like meeting the greatness of your soul in greater and greater levels. And that to me is everything. And I hope to be a part of the catalyst for people to experience that. And it's really interesting to me because like right now, part of my marketing conundrum is that people might hear the word joyful marketing and think it's all about like rainbows and daisies and like positive thinking and you'll feel good and go tra la 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 and you'll manifest all the clients. Like, you know, there are like strains of the self-help world that believe that. And I'm, as you can see, I'm so not about any of it. So, and if I could add something, this is just my personal belief that those of us with more awareness of our own trauma, those of us with anxiety brains, depression brains, for those of us who are born with a sense of an extra acute sense of like, there's something about being in this world that does not sit right with me.
Yeah.
Oh. This world, I don't know. What is planet Earth? I don't understand, right? Like, for those of us who have a more acute sense of that, I think a lot of our astrological charts tell us like which one of us that is. I think it's even more important that we do this work for ourselves because we have so much to teach the world. Like we are here to evolve the world. And if we were firmly of this world, then we would not have the perspective to catalyze evolution in this world. And so I hate to see people disqualify themselves from doing this work to serve, whether it's in the form of healing or life coaching or so many different creative things that people do beautifully. If it feels harder because of your nervous system, because of the brain you have, it's probably because there's an even more important thing that you have to teach the world, that you have to catalyze for the world, for the unique people that you are meant to serve. And I would love for everyone to stick around enough to find out what that is.
Yeah, well, there's probably also the other layer of, if you're a spiritual, magical, however you define yourself, person, it's this, we all at some days wake up and you're like, I wish I just didn't fucking wake up. It would have been so much easier if I didn't wake up. Like if I wasn't awake, like there's that like veil that people who are doing these businesses in a way that it is an outpouring of their soul or of this divine unfolding. It's so different than someone who's just like starting a bakery. But I mean, like, of course you can also start a bakery, but just to have like a business and to make a business versus like, oh no, I'm actually like bearing my authentic true self through my business. And that's a part of my marketing. Oh shit. Like, like and like that doesn't even necessarily have to do with any sort of nervous system issues that a person could also have on top of that. But like,
what do you mean? Like,
well, I kind of see it like there's this category of, I'm imagining a Venn diagram of like the category of people who have some like brain nervous system things going on that may trigger certain things. And then there's also like the school of people who are this awakened, I want to have a business that's now like my sole purpose. And then there's like the overlap of the two. I'm trying to create a Venn diagram with my fingers where like they're not not necessarily the same groups, but I feel like we're talking to that overlap.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you said the thing that you said earlier, which is just like thinking, I just don't want to wake up today. Right.
Yeah.
And I think like before, there's the people who understand what that means. And like before, when I have confided in people with those thoughts, like they were like, "Oh my God, are you like suicidal? Like, do you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, that's not what it's about." Like, I mean, some people who think that might actually be, but it's just a discomfort with this, with the world and with like being. And I think for us, the world as it is and the state of our being, like it should be very uncomfortable because we're not like from here, right? Like, again, note to self, like, wow, I've been holding a lot of stuff back on my own podcast. It's all coming out. And at the end of the day, we're all human and we're not that different from each other. But I think like what Sam and I both want in common is for you to take your sacred mission very seriously.
Yeah.
She's nodding, everybody.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just feeling it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, but going back to trauma responses, there were a few things like you gave very specific examples, and I'm wondering if you can like talk a little bit about each of them here with all of us today. And your wording was, I mean, first of all, your wording in this separate thing was just so good. Trauma-informed, neurodiversity honoring, love-based sacred marketing. How good is that? I love that. But you were talking about how people can freeze, flight, or fawn in reaction as their nervous system reacts to certain things in their business. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I've been coaching people on marketing and showing up online in general and selling. And I just kept seeing categories of experiences that people didn't quite know how to make sense of themselves other than to think that they're somehow doing it wrong. There's something weak about them, right? Or they're like unable to manage their minds or something, right? And it was after I learned of these models where there is such a thing as trauma responses that get divided into different categories. Which are the three that you mentioned? It's like flight, freeze, flight, and fawn,
flight,
right?
and
So
fawn.
yeah. So freeze is I'm imagining that so many people are going to be nodding their heads because freeze is when you when your nervous system just kind of freezes up literally and your head goes blank. Like for example, a lot of people tell me when they sit down to write copy, when they sit down to write an offer, their mind just goes blank as if all the contents of their brain have just evaporated. Or when they're at a party, somebody asks them, "So what do you do?" And when they used to be an accountant, they were like, "I'm an accountant." But now that they're starting their sole business online, they're like, what do I do? I don't know. Right? Like their mind goes blank. And sometimes I've seen this happen with myself too, and with my clients where in a coaching session, something challenging will come up and they will just dissociate. And this dissociation will happen too in their own marketing and selling, where something unexpected comes up and so what happens is that your nervous system temporarily perceives whatever is happening as like more than you can handle, and it as a defense mechanism, as a self-protective mechanism, it just says freeze, no thoughts, like no nothing, just blank, and then we're not going to be harmed by this experience because it's too much, right? So that's how freeze shows up. How flight shows up, actually, I think is in two very different, interesting ways that apply to lots of people. And one way flight shows up is literally you fly from thing to thing, you like avoid things, right? And if something is hard, instead of leading into it, you run away. people with a pattern of like, avoidance, like those of you, you know who you are. Like I was and am one of these people too. Like our first instinct is like, scary, run away. I don't want to do it. Right. Like in my family, I was like, don't give Simone like any bill ever, because she's just going to ignore it. She doesn't like looking at it. She's like, she's a child.
Well,
Like,
is
that's the most
procrastination a different one, or would probably procrastination falls into this avoid
procrastination
category?
looks like flight.
Uh-huh.
Definitely. Yeah. So avoidance, procrastination, because again, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain, like for me, when I'm ignoring something like a very menial task that takes 3 seconds to do, but I'm ignoring it, it's because my nervous system is telling me there's something really scary there that's going to like fry your nervous system and you're going to die. Right. Like intellectually, I know that's not going to happen, but my nervous system is like incredibly on high alert. So that's one way flight shows up. And another way flight shows up, which I think is like less obvious, is the flight to constant flight to action. It's like you're never ending action taker, problem solver, fixer, hustler, because it's so very painful to just sit and be. Because when you're just sitting and being, what comes up is all of the things that your nervous system was suppressing that makes you feel unsafe. Like all your thoughts about your unworthiness, all the thoughts about like whatever you had going on, you constantly run from thing to thing, to action, to achievement, to distract yourself. And because that flight response, what that nervous system has learned is that unless you do everything perfectly and achieve everything perfectly all the time, you're not going to be lovable. And if you're not lovable, then they're going to drive you out of the tribe and you're going to die. And some people, lots of incredible successful people, keep up this pattern of nervous system flight response for decades. And they look like they have everything from the outside, but they're tired, right? Because if they think, if I were to slow down and just sit still for 1 minute, I'm going to die, right? So those are the people that I also like I want to take care of them. Like, not, just like, I just want them to introduce them to this path of growth where they learn how to just sit and not feel like they're going to die. And I say these people, but it's like a part of me too, right? Like it's so many of us. That's flight. And fawn, I have all these pieces in me. And fawn is when your nervous system again perceives a danger, something has gone wrong, there's a danger, and your way out of the danger, your way to create safety is by blindly appeasing whoever's in front of you and whatever you think they want. So if it's a confrontation, it's like, for a lot of women, it looks like over apologizing. It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, right? And, oh yeah, you're totally right. Oh yeah, I totally misunderstood. Like that kind of almost like erasing of your own self, your own thoughts, desires, wants, and needs, your own judgment, because to assert that at conflict with somebody else's is like death. And you want to create safety as fast as possible. So this looks like people pleasing, right? When you market, over apologizing for like showing up to market and sell. And if somebody else that gives you feedback, even though they're far from your ideal client and they were never going to give you money anyway, and frankly, they're kind of an asshole, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, that's not what I meant. And like, you just like bend over backwards for them, right? That's fun. And you're not doing it because you're a sucker. You're doing it because your nervous system thinks that's the best way to help you not die. So that was kind of a long explanation, but that's the three. And these three things happen all the time. And the fourth thing that wasn't in that post, but also comes up is fight, of course. Right? Fight is also a nervous system response. And fight, I think this happens maybe less frequently than the other ones with women. I know I'm like very, very largely generalizing, but fight is
no, it's just Aries.
If you're the kind of person who gets into arguments a lot.
Sorry, bad joke.
It's just Aries, exactly. If you find yourself getting mad a lot, you get into a lot of arguments, you kind of like, you always want to like win, like come out on top of every situation. And like, even if that means like crushing the other person, and you want to like destroy the other person. And like these can happen in these like micro instances, like like online. And if you're feeling that aggression, that kind of tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, that makes you feel like I have to go to battle and win in order to be safe, that's the fight response, right? It's another way that your nervous system the trauma response just tries to keep you safe.
So something that a concept I've been jostling around with in my mind for a few months has been the idea that a lot of business owners are codependent with their businesses. And I'm wondering if it would actually fit really nicely into this trauma response system.
Tell me more about the codependency. What does that mean?
Well, I think it's the two sides of people who are just, they're working all the time because it's kind of what you're saying with the flight. They can't stop, or they have like this huge need for security, and they think another shoe is going to drop, or they're so nervous it's all gonna like end, or like something bad is gonna happen. So they just keep on moving forward because they just want their business. They want to make their business have them feel safe in a lot of ways. And then on the other side of it, it's codependency with clients, which like in my mind, it's like it's a part of your business, even though it's another human versus like the soul of your business. But I see this over and over again. But like I'm kind of hearing it with what you're talking about with Fawn, of this people pleasing, when in my head I'm like, oh no, they're instead of acting out their codependency in their love relationship, they're acting it out in their work relationships.
Absolutely. You will just, whatever you got going on, you will just act it out in whatever is the most intimate relationship. And of course, a lot of the times it comes out in romantic relationships. And for a lot of us, I feel like I have two romantic relationships, one with my business and the other with my husband.
I love that.
It's like, I feel like we're in this like polyamorous arrangement. This is like me and my business and my husband. I probably need to get coached on that. But yeah, it's like both are always like showing me what I need to work on, right? So if you do it with people, like for sure you're going to do it with your business, because your business is like a person. And yeah, I completely agree.
So on that note of how you worded what you just said, so this podcast is called Business as a Magical Practice, and it's from the lens of, as magical spiritual people, we use our practices in order to better our business. But I think a lot of us do or could use their businesses as an actual ground of a spiritual practice. Do you do that?
Oh, yeah.
And if so, like, give us the details.
No, but it's not, do I do that? That's 100% of how I see it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think the only reason we have a business is because it shows us exactly what we need to work through to grow to the fullest expression of our souls. And I think that's the only thing that would keep me going. Like at this point, yeah, I made $1 million. It's not like I've made all the money I could ever spend, but I eventually plan to make all the money, more money than I can ever spend. I'm going to just make like all of the money in the world. Right. And even at that point, like what's going to drive me isn't like when money stops driving you and fame and glory and other people's like, admiration of you, that does not, if that's not the point, right? Like the point is that, again, every level of the video game is going to show you what the next chapter is for you to become more of yourself. And I think what's really beautiful is that the way at every level it looks different, but whenever you lean into that, whenever you just agree to play with the chapter, like agree to play with the video game and stop resisting it, that's when you actually end up being the most useful to the world. And that looks different at every stage, right? Like how I could be more useful, the most useful to the world now at age 34 is going to be very different from the way I'm going to be able to be the most useful to the world when I'm 85 years old, right? And if you think they should be the same thing, like if you think you're always going to just want to make more money, more success, more impact, more whatever, then you're just not going to like have a very good time when you're 94 years old, because you just can't do it anymore. Right. So it's in the end, it sounds so like spiritual, but whatever, like we are spiritual over here. At the end, it's you and your soul. And what I would say in my language, I say like my God, right? And for other people, it might be the universe, whatever. It's like, it's me, my soul, and my God and it's our relation, and everything is just like a mirage, like a mirror that shows me my relationship with my own soul and with my God. And so um absolutely, like I was so resonate with the title of your podcast, like business. It's not the business, you look at business as a magical practice. Business is a magical practice.
Yeah.
And it's how magic is showing itself to you. Right? And you could take it, the whole thing, as a magical operation, or you could pretend like it's what's the opposite of magical? You could pretend like it's a
Muggle.
100% material muggle operation, and I just don't think that version of it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, totally. So I have to know, do you have any specific magical or spiritual rituals that you do on a consistent basis outside of business?
Okay, so I'm like, it's like representing all the super distracted ADHD people who like are really bad with quote unquote practices. there's nothing that, or I can sustain my attention to do in like a ritualistic habitual way, that there's like, I wish I could tell you like, oh yeah, like every Thursday I do this ritual and and I don't. And how I have, but at the same time, I find that I'm a very potent magician. Like, I created fucking $1 million. Like I'm a creator. I'm a magician. I create the shit out of whatever I want. Like I do alchemy like nobody's business. But why is it that I do that when I don't have any practices, right? And then I realized that what I'm actually doing is that my whole being is profoundly magical. And this is what I tell people. I tell everybody that I'm a quadruple Pisces. Right? So I have a Pisces Sun, Pisces Jupiter, Pisces Mercury, and Pisces Venus. And so there's like an aspect of our beings that are just so overwhelming. And like, I am just an overwhelmingly magical spiritual person by the virtue of so much of my being so watery. Right? And so I realized that like at some point I just decided to think like, listen, I don't have to sit down and make like a sigil, because like every time I have a thought, that's a sigil. Like, I don't need an altar, because like my body is an altar. And it's like the laziest self-justification for why I don't want to sit down and do anything. But it kind of simplified magical practice for me. Like, I hold an intention and that's a spell that I cast, right? Like, that's kind of the way I think about it. It's like everything I do is magic. So I don't need special practices for it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you practice feng shui?
I don't know anything about that, but whenever
okay,
people tell
wait, let me give you a cop out right now. It's not actually a cop out, but to back up give you some backup for what you just said. Feng shui is like this Chinese practice of how you decorate your house as a way of bringing in wealth and prosperity. And so you're just decorating your house in a beautiful way. That's magic.
Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah. So you're already doing it very intentionally.
Okay. What I meant is like, I live in Korea and feng shui is part of our culture, but I meant like, I don't know any like systematized, like I wouldn't be able to tell you any of the rules, but whenever people tell me, oh, like your door should face this direction and like that sofa should go over there, I'm like, okay, whatever, like if I trust you, right? Like, and so Koreans take that very seriously. Actually, in my family, we actually dug up not my actual grandfather, but my great grandfather's grave, and we reburied him like 50 years after he died, because something about that original burial site was like inauspicious. And there was like another part of the mountain that was a better whatever feng shui fit for whatever, right? And it's just like family lore that everything just it was like way better for the family. Like we had way better luck after that. And so we take that very serious.
Beliefs are super potent. So like if you all believe in it and you're agreed as a family, that thing, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's
right. Like we just had this whole song and dance.
Like, the inner and the outer, right? Because like we can look to astrology, we can look to auspicious burial sites and all of these external things, or you could just look at the inner world. But why not just marry them and do it all?
Exactly.
It makes a more potent, rich, beautiful life, personally.
Totally. Yeah, I'm totally all about like, I mean, I say I don't do anything ritualistically, but the fact of the matter is that I light incense every day, and I think like even like for me, taking a shower feels ritualistic.
Yeah.
It's like, it really feels like every time I take a shower, it's like a baptism of sorts. Like I feel the water run over me, and I feel like reborn. And I know that it's not just I wash the dirt off my body. It's like I feel like there are genuine magical properties to the shower, right? And this is like a little bit TMI, but I definitely think of like sex as magical
Yeah.
as well. It's like I feel different. Like it's my energy is different. The flow of the energy in my body is different after I have sex with my husband, because it I feel like it clears things out from inside me, and it just like renews me with some kind of like, sometimes I think I like take sex with my husband as like a pill. I feel like I take it like some people take vitamins. I'm like, okay, I need some sex. I need like some like spiritual supplements over here, right? So that's how I like work that into my life.
Some vitamin D specifically? No.
Exactly, vitamin D. Didn't think we're gonna go there, did you?
Can't help it. Oh, so good. I love that. I mean, I there are full traditions of sex magic, so I don't think that's far-fetched at all.
Totally. Yeah, and I'm such a dabbler, right? Like um it's very hard for me to go deep with any one practice or any one tradition, only because I'm so ADD,
Mhm.
right? I just like to sample all the things and make like an eclectic mix of things that works for me. Which is why like people know that I'm very spiritual, but I never want to teach on like magical practice or anything, because I just cobble things together and make them work for me. And I encourage other people to do the same.
No, I do too. I just say
Yeah,
I'm so mercurial that I just
exactly.
can't keep to it, and it's working out, so I'm fine with
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. We're both powerful creators. Yeah, it's working.
Okay, so you're probably not going to be able to answer this question based on what you said, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. What was the
Okay.
flip you switched from one-off $38 tarot readings to a seven-figure business owner in less than 2 years?
What was the flip of the switch? There's so many ways to answer that. And I've gotten that question so many times, and I don't think any one answer does the whole alchemical process justice, right? Um, and again, this is the kind of thing I would never admit to in my own podcast.
Love
So you're
it.
hearing all of my secrets here. But if I'm being really honest, I attribute some of it to me just having come out of my fucking Saturn return.
Yeah.
I just went through a whole process of being cooked. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I wouldn't necessarily say that on my podcast, well, I already said it here, so it's on the record, is because like I don't want people to think like, oh, I have to wait until the end of my Saturn
Yeah.
return to do what she did, because that's just not true. Like people at all stages of whatever, you can make whatever you want happen at any stage.
Yeah.
There's no limit that way. But to me, I feel like I had just been through a very profound process of being cooked. And I had, it's not like I like arrived, but like I really feel like I shed a layer of skin, and I was really ready and able to go fully into, like lean fully into that alchemical process. And something that I've talked a lot about on my own podcast and my own coach's podcast is my ability to lean into what my ego wanted to reject, like lean into the discomfort, lean into things that my mind just automatically threw up resistance around. Like, oh, you like hate the thought of selling? Great, let's learn how to love it. Like, you hate the vulnerability of like people having like a particular thought about you? Let's try to make as much of that happen as possible so we can just work through that now and get it over with, right? And so, and constantly I just made decisions, like small decisions, medium ones, big ones, to run and to go in the opposite direction of what my brain wanted me to do to be safe. And in the process, I healed so much of my own trauma. In the process, I discovered a strength in myself that I didn't know I had, which is what makes me want to teach this work to other people, right? And so if I were to look at the overall pattern of things, I think that that's the biggest pattern that I attribute my success to, is my ability that I had gained after my Saturn return to look at challenges, look at what's hard, look at what's triggering, and say, you know what? Let's stay with this. In the past, we would have just run the fuck away and pointed fingers. Now we're gonna sit. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure out what's on the other side. right?
Beautiful. I didn't like my Saturn return either. It's funny you say that because I wrote
Saturn return sucks balls.
I wrote on Instagram of like dissing people blaming everything on Mercury retrograde and their Saturn returns, and then at the end I'm like, but really my Saturn return was the worst and things were so much easier afterwards.
Totally. Everything is a blessing except that part sucks balls. Yeah.
No, I feel you. It's like you don't want to blame
No,
it.
but you want to honor that, because I swear to God, if it wasn't for my Saturn return, I would not be the person that I am today. Like, the Saturn return or Mercury retrograde isn't against you. It's supporting you. Except success, me achieving success inside my Saturn return looked different from what my success looks like now. Back then, it wasn't everything going amazingly well and me, succeeding and making tons of money and everything feeling like just growth all the time. Back then, the success was just being alive every day and just not dying and letting myself be taken by the waves. And it did not look pretty. It was not glamorous. In fact, a lot of it was quite ugly. I was like breaking down all the time, but that's what it looks like. That's if you're doing it right. Because at the end, you become a different person. Like, another Caroline Casey thing that I love that she says is, just like making people, like scaring people about these astrological period, like, oh, Saturn returns so terrible, is kind of like telling a woman that she's gonna like be pregnant for 9 months but not telling her that there's gonna be a baby at the end. Right? So you're gonna like have these horrible 9 months when you like are like carry around a being in your belly and you can't sleep and you constantly throw up and it's horrible and you get fat, and that's it. Like, you don't tell them at the end there's a baby and you get to be a mom, right?
You might be ripping apart like tissue and in order
exactly because if you hear that, like, what person in their sound mind would consent to that, right? We would never want to do any of it, but we do it because what's on the other side is so worth it. And so, yes, Saturn return, we're not going to say it's like beautiful and rainbows and daisies, but there's going to be a baby at the end. It's going to be beautiful.
So true. I love that. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. Can I ask you a couple mini questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So mini question number 1 is, what is your favorite purchase you've made over the last however long for your business and for pleasure?
Okay, so this is a very timely question because I just made this purchase yesterday after a lot of deliberation, and it was a magical decision that I made. And I have been thinking about how to celebrate myself with an appropriate gift for the $1 million achievement. And yesterday I knew that it had to be like something good, like not like something that I could have bought with my former budget, like something to really signal to my own spirit, like this is a new level. And I went and bought a necklace with that was at the head of a serpent from Bulgari. And there's a whole line of necklaces and jewelry, like rings and also purses that Bulgari has, where like the theme is like, it's called Serpenti, and it's all like snake heads. And snakes mean a lot to me for many reasons. And this one that I chose had, it's like studded with diamonds, and it had like sapphire eyes and like malachite, like scales on its head. And just the colors just called out to me. And immediately it was like, you must buy me. And I walked into the store where I have never walked into a Bulgari store before, because I just felt like I'm the wrong kind of person to be there. And I was like, I don't care how much it is, I'm going to buy it. And then so I bought it. I'm going to tell the whole world how much it was. It was there. No, hold on. Just to make sure that I got the math right. No, it was 21 grand. It's 21 grand. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, this is like, my brain is like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And my spirit was like, this is who we are.
Oh,
get that snake head. And I wished I was wearing it so you could see it right now, but I put it away before I go to bed because I'm like terrified of sleeping in it. But it's beautiful. And I feel like this 21 grand necklace is going to, it's literally, it's a magical relic for me.
Yeah.
It means so much more to me than just jewelry. And I think the most expensive jewelry I ever bought before that was like $200. So new level, new me. And it brought me so much magical pleasure. I felt up leveled as a person, as a business person, as a woman, as a magical being with it. And I love it.
What a perfect talisman.
Exactly. It's a talisman. Exactly.
And then what about for your business? That was for pleasure, which I love. That's so fun.
But I feel like this is for my business though. What do you buy yourself for your business? I don't even know.
New software, new hardware, new team members, of course,
Maybe.
a mentor.
Yeah. I mean, I just dropped 50 grand to continue coaching with my coach. So that was like a gift to myself as well. I'm always going to invest, but yeah. I can't think of anything along those lines now, but I do want to like emphasize that the necklace really does feel like a business expense. Like I'm not going to expense it like on my taxes, but it feels like that because it's to serve my next becoming, right? Like it really is an energetic thing. And I think, I don't know how, I don't have to know how, but me having that necklace and me being willing to wear it and even talk about it, right, is going to serve a really important purpose in my business.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think that's a lot along the same lines of, I've heard people talk about think as a business owner, thinking of self-care as profit generating, like classify that in your
everything
business
is connected.
Yeah, totally. I think that's really important, especially for people in flight response.
Absolutely. Yes. You don't compartmentalize it. Everything that you do for you is for your business. Pleasure is business. It's all energy. Everything impacts each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Simone. This was so fun. And I'm honored that you shared a piece of yourself that you haven't been willing to share with your audience yet.
I feel like I shared lots of pieces that I would have been willing to share before. It's like be authentic or go home, right? Like what's the point? Just okay, here's all of me. I might change my mind about these things later, but this is where I am today.
I feel you. So where can everyone find you? Tell us what you're offering if they're your people.
Yes. Okay. So if what I'm saying resonates, you're probably my people. You can find me on Instagram at simone.grace.seol. That's probably the best way to find everything. And if you want to join my community, it's called Joyful Marketing. I already told you it's a bait and switch. I call it joy, and then I get you in, and then I blast you with the spiritual growth. And it's only for life coaches. And it's a way it's a place where we get to really rewire our brains and nervous systems and even like our spiritual selves in all the ways that we talked about, so that there's nothing creating static in terms of you showing up with the full force of what you're here to express on this earth and make a killing that way and help so many people. So that's what we do. And we would love to have you. Oh, and my podcast is called Joyful Marketing too.
And even if you are not a life coach, she shares gold. I definitely follow her podcast and her Instagram.
Yeah, you're welcome to listen to my podcast. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And this is the first time we've talked, but I feel like I've gained a friend and an ally in the work. So I'm very happy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. And thank you everyone for listening and being on this journey with us.
Yay.